My favorite genre of film and TV is when they use a trope to draw people in only to reveal a deeper message, and Materialists fits that description. The rom-com setup and love triangle is a fun aesthetic to grab your attention, but once you peel back the layers, there is something much deeper. A few things actually that are much deeper. It takes a talented person behind the screen to execute this, and that talented person is Celine Song. She is like my favorite person working in Hollywood right now. In 2023, she released her debut film, Past Lives, and oh my god, what a debut it was. I'm Korean American, by the way, and that film just hits a part of me that no one else gets. It's one of the few movies that I watched with my mom, and we bonded so much over that movie. So yeah, Past Lives just holds a special place in my heart. It's actually in my top 4 favorite films of all time. So as you could probably assume, I was super excited for Materialists. The movie theater I work at had the poster up for weeks, and I was just freaking out and telling all my coworkers about it. But I'm not gonna lie, I was a little nervous. How does one follow up a film like Past Lives, an Oscar-nominated debut? Where do you even go from there? For Celine Song, the answer is inwards. Disclaimer as usual, these are just my opinions. Feel free to comment yours, just remember to be respectful. Dakota Johnson plays a matchmaker named Lucy who finds herself in a love triangle between her ex and a new rich perfect match. The ex's name is John and he's played by Chris Evans. The rich guy is named Harry and he's played by Pedro Pascal. The three of them have great chemistry and balance each other out so well. So much to the point that Celine Song couldn't even keep them apart behind the screen. Speaking of Celine Song, again, this film was inspired by her own experiences of being a matchmaker, and clearly she got a lot to say about that. There is something so intimate about her writing. It hits you in places that you never even knew existed, and I think she's keeping the romance genre alive by just being real. I loved Past Lives because it felt like the script was whispering in a way. It wasn't quiet with its story and themes, but I just loved its approach because there's so much not being said. It's just what you feel. And what is being said hits you like a truck. So again, it takes a talented writer to do that. There's still some of that whispering in Materialists, but there's also this newfound confidence. Unlike the lyrical tone of Past Lives, Materialists is a lot more straightforward. There's a lot of themes of New York's ambition, desires, and wealth. Celine is passionate about all of them, but she's clearly the most passionate about romance. Modern dating sucks. Trust me, as a 21-year-old woman living in New York, modern dating is kind of the only experience I've had in dating, and I can say with confidence, it's really hard. It's shallow, materialistic, and it feels hopeless, I'm not gonna lie. I remember seeing an Instagram post that said New York was ranked the worst place in the world for dating. I know I shouldn't believe everything I see online, but I don't need to fact check that to believe it. It's just as capitalistic as the city itself. It's not just New York, by the way. Romance has just become transactional, and it comes at a price. I'm gonna be a little vulnerable right now. I came out of a pretty bad situationship like a month ago. The guy treated me like hot garbage, and I didn't even know how bad it was because I had been treated even worse in the past for so much longer. But I think in my mind I was like, oh, he's not treating me as bad, so I'll let it slide. But it wasn't until I finally started talking about it that I realized, oh shit, it's still bad. Trash is still trash. Like, he's still treating me very badly. That's why it hurts so much. Not just the guy, by the way, but all of his friends too. And to make things worse, the guy knew that his friends were treating me badly and he didn't do anything about it. And to make it even worse, the guy doesn't even know how badly he treated me. Sorry for the rant. But my point is, modern dating is pretty difficult, and I was starting to lose faith in it. I've always been somewhat of a cynical romantic, but I still held out hope. But after this situation, I was starting to lose that. So I think Materialists came at a time that I needed it the most. Right now, we're living in a time where materialism consumes our lives and the dating market. We see that in Lucy's clients. They all demand unrealistic expectations for their prospective matches. Their height, salary, looks, career, and wealth is all they're looking for. When the customers treat Lucy like a genie, it's hard to not let their requests bleed into her personal life and her perception of love. The matchmaking company she works for is an algorithm. It's a carefully curated service that matches people by checking their boxes. And she's kind of let that affect her personal life and who she looks for. So here comes Harry, a tall, good-looking guy who can probably wipe his ass with a $100 bill and not even think twice about it. He sweeps her up into his lavish lifestyle and treats her well. He's like the perfect guy. And now, here comes John, the ex. There's a change in Lucy whenever John is around. Her body and voice are way more relaxed and softened. It's a subtle but loud change in Dakota Johnson's performance, and you can instantly tell that there are deeper feelings involved. There's also a change in John too, a vulnerable side that we haven't seen from him before. His love for Lucy is so strong. It hurts him that he can't provide for Lucy in the way that she wants. But even when it hurts, he's still gonna be there for her, no matter what. Oh my god, Celine song. Side note, but let's put Chris Evans in more movies like this. I know his potential. Gifted was my favorite movie growing up. The guy can act, let's not forget that. Harry is also treated with the same love and care. His lifestyle instantly fits Lucy's materialistic ideals. He checks all the boxes, but beyond the charms and confidence, there's a soft and hurt side of Harry as well. Whenever I see the topic of modern dating on social media, it's usually women talking about how much it sucks. And listen, they're not wrong. They have every right to be mad in my opinion, but I also think it's important to hear a male perspective because they aren't really happy either. And that's exactly what's done in Materialists. We see both of the guys in the love triangle struggle in their romantic lives. Harry believes that his value is tied to his wealth, status, and physical appearance. Spoiler alert, but man's literally broke his legs to grow a couple of inches, but it's somewhat successful. Women look at him differently. They treat him differently. He's a unicorn in the marketplace, but it's only somewhat successful because under the surface, there is still a lot of hurt and loneliness. The film also acts as social commentary because right now, we live in an era where everything is accessible. In theory, meeting the right person should be at our fingertips. But when you give in to the materialist mindset, marriage just becomes a business transaction. But checking boxes isn't love. The film is a strong message on why we need to view people as people. Side note, but I also love the subplot of Sophie. It broke my heart, oh my god, but it was an important arc about essay and an important message. Yes, someone may check the boxes, but that isn't a way to determine their character. We need to view people as people, not what they do as a career, not their height or other physical attributes, but for who they are as a person. I also love how the film treated the characters like real people. That may sound kind of dumb, like, duh, of course a film should do that, but you'd be surprised. But in Materialists, every character felt like an actual person instead of just an actor memorizing lines. I also love that Harry and John weren't enemies. There wasn't necessarily a right or wrong guy. They both deeply value Lucy for who she is. They respect her, know her worth, and most importantly, let her make the choice she wants in the end. Speaking of worth, that was my favorite part of the film. The theme of self-worth. Again, in a world of transactional relationships and an overwhelming focus on appearance, the film asks who we are deep down. We can't rely on other people to determine that for us. We can't change ourselves and our lives to fit into other people's standards in hopes that we may one day feel good about ourselves. We may try for a little bit because we're human. It hurts to not fit into other people's standards. However, self-worth will always be fragile when built on an unstable foundation. We have to look inwards and love ourselves for the good and the bad. Self-worth is something that I have struggled with for my entire life, but it's also something that I am deeply committed to improving on, especially after my last situationship. Just like reality, Materialist doesn't have a clear answer. The film invites us to sit, wallow, and reflect in the discomfort, but we also grow to accept the reality of not just modern dating, but modern love. And for as much discomfort as there is also hope at the end of the day. And I cannot wait to see what Celine Song does next. Thank you so much for watching. Again, these are just my opinions. Feel free to comment yours, just remember to be respectful. Please go watch and support this movie. Truly incredible. Follow me on Instagram and Letterboxd to see what I'm up to and what I'm watching. So yeah, subscribe if you want. Have a great day. Bye!